Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of Dave Talks Movies. 2 weeks ago we covered the most quoted lines from each year from the 1990 to 1999. So I had a lot of fun with that and you guys made it one of our most popular videos. Now the plan was to release the next video in that series, which would have been the most quoted lines from the year 2000 to 2009. But with everything happening with work, I was unable to make it. With that being said, we're going to take a step back from the movie quotes this week and cover another topic. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 10 films written by Quentin Tarantino. Now, as many of you are fans of his, you will know that he directed and even acted in some of these movies, but not all of them. Now, that being said, we may be covering some major plot points in them, so spoiler alert is in effect. Please take a moment to hit that like, subscribe, and notify button at the bottom of your screen to see all of our videos as soon as they come out. Remember, these are just my opinions, and I want you to watch the movies for yourself. Alright guys, our number 10 spot goes to the interesting concept that Tarantino and director Robert Rodriguez tried out. It was 2 short movies put into one feature-length movie, to give it that feel of the 60s and 70s double feature. We're talking about the 2007 movie Grindhouse, which had the 2 smaller movies Planet Terror and Death Proof in them. Now we're only going to be covering Death Proof since it was the movie that Tarantino worked on the most. So in Austin, Texas, the friends Julia, Arlene, and Shannon meet at a bar to drink, smoke, and make out with their boyfriends before traveling alone to Lake LBJ to spend their weekend together. They meet the former Hollywood stuntman Mike, who takes Pam out in his death-proof stunt car. 14 months later, Mike turns up in Lebanon, Tennessee, and chases Abernathy, Zoe, and Kim, but these girls are tough and decide to pay back the attack. This movie is action-packed from beginning to end, and as stuntman Mike says, it's only death-proof if you're sitting in my seat. Alright guys, we're going to jump into our number 9 spot, which takes us into the world of 2 people who had traumatizing childhoods. These 2 people somehow met, fell in love, and got married. We're talking about the 1994 movie Natural Born Killers. We join Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis as Mickey Knox and Mallory Wilson, who aren't your typical lovers. After killing her abusive father, they go on a road trip where every time they stop somewhere, they kill pretty much everyone around them. They do, however, leave one person alive at every shootout to tell the story, and they soon become a media sensation thanks to sensationalized reporting told in a highly visual style. Alright guys, our number 8 spot actually goes to one of Quentin's newer movies. That is a 2015 movie, The Hateful Eight. Now when I first saw this movie, I had big hopes for it with a lot of the cast working with Tarantino before, and with big names like Samuel L. Jackson and Kurt Russell acting side by side, what could go wrong? Sometime after the Civil War, a stagecoach hurtles through Wyoming in the winter. Bounty hunter John Ruth and his fugitive captive Daisy race towards the town of Red Rock, where Ruth will bring Daisy to justice. They're on their way when they encounter Major Marquise Warren, another bounty hunter, and Chris Mannix, Red Rock's new sheriff. Lost in the blizzard, the bunch seeks refuge at Minnie's haberdashery. When they arrive, they are not greeted by Minnie, but a group of unfamiliar faces. The 8 travelers come to learn that they may not make it to Red Rock after all. One by one, they fall as Daisy's plans come into view. So number 7 takes us to one of the strangest vampire movies out there. We're talking about the 1996 movie From Dusk Till Dawn with George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino playing our 2 lead criminals. After a bank heist with several casualties, the bank robbers Seth and his psychotic rapist brother Richard continue their crime spree in a convenience store in the middle of the desert while heading to Mexico with a hostage. They decide to stop for a while in a low-end budget motel. Meanwhile, former minister Jacob Fuller is traveling on vacation with his son Scott and his daughter Kate in an RV. Jacob lost his faith after the death of his beloved wife in a car accident and quit his position of pastor in his community. They decide to stop for the night in the same motel as Seth and Richard, When Seth sees the recreational vehicle, he abducts Jacob and his family to help his brother and him cross the Mexican border, promising to release them the next morning. They head to the truck drivers and bikers bar, Titty Twisters, where Seth will meet up with his partner Carlos at dawn. When they're watching the dancers, Seth and Richard fight with 3 bodyguards. They soon discover that the bar is a coven of vampires and they need to fight until dawn to leave the place alive. With the help from their hostages, they fight throughout the night. Now, I know I'm going to get some kickback with where I place these movies, but our number 6 spot goes to the Kill Bill series. With the first movie released in 2003 and the second released in 2004, we join Uma Thurman and David Carradine as Bride and Bill. The first movie has the bride as a member of the deadly Viper assassination squad, led by her lover Bill. Upon realizing she was pregnant with Bill's child, the bride decided to escape her life as a killer. She fled to Texas, met a young man who, on the day of their wedding rehearsal, was gunned down by an angry and jealous Bill, with the assistance of the deadly Viper assassin squad. 4 years later, the bride wakes from her coma and discovers that her baby's gone. She then decides to seek revenge upon the 5 people who destroyed her life and killed her baby. Then the second part has the murderous bride back, and she is still continuing with her vengeance quest against her ex-boss Bill, and taking aim at Bill's younger brothers Bud and Eli Driver, the only survivors from the squad of assassins who betrayed her 4 years earlier. It's all leading up to the ultimate confrontation with Bill, the bride's former master, and the man who ordered her execution. Now, our number 5 spot is one of my all-time favorite cult classic movies, and one of the movies that put Tarantino on the map for me. I talk about the 1994 movie Pulp Fiction. With an all-star lineup of actors like Uma Thurman, John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, and Bruce Willis, and many more, I had high hopes for this movie, and it delivered on all cylinders. Jules Winfield and Vincent Vega are 2 hitmen who are out to retrieve a suitcase stolen from their employer, mob boss Marcellus Wallace. Wallace has also asked Vincent to take his wife Mia out a few days later, when Wallace himself will be out of town. Butch Coolidge is an aging boxer who is paid by Wallace to lose his fight. The life of these seemingly unrelated people are woven together, compromising a series of funny, bizarre, and uncalled for incidents. This movie concept was used by many different writers over the years, with many different movies. One of the major movies that was influenced by this writing style was the movie Crash. Our number 4 spot was the first Quentin Tarantino movie I ever saw. It was also one of the first movies that Tarantino wrote and directed on his own. It's about a group of criminals that go by colors. I'm talking about the action, crime thriller, comedy Reservoir Dogs, released in 1992. 6 criminals who are strangers to each other are hired by a crime boss, Joe Cabot, to carry out a diamond robbery. Right at the onset, they are given false names with the intention that they won't get too close and will concentrate at the job instead. They are completely sure that the robbery is going to be a success. But when the police show up right at the time and the site of the robbery, panic spreads among the group members, and 2 of them are killed in the subsequent shootout, along with a few policemen and civilians. When the remaining criminals assemble at the predetermined rendezvous point, a warehouse, they begin to suspect that one of them is an undercover cop. Our number 3 spot goes to his newest movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, released in 2019. In this movie, we join Tarantino alumni Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. In this movie, we visit 1969 Los Angeles, where everything is changing. As a TV star, Rick Dalton and his longtime stunt double, Cliff Booth, make their way around an industry they hardly recognize anymore. This movie features a large ensemble cast and multiple storylines in tribute of the final movies of Hollywood's golden ages. Also, as a recommendation, if you're going to watch this video, you should have a base knowledge of the Charles Manson and Sharon Tate murders. Words cannot explain how much I like this next movie. We're going to be talking about our second spot, where we join a ragtag group of soldiers during World War II who are dropped behind enemy lines to kill Nazis. I'm talking about the 2009 movie Inglourious Basterds. In German-occupied France, young Jewish refugee Shosanna witnesses the slaughter of her family by Colonel Hans Landa. Narrowly escaping with her life, she plots her revenge several years later when German war hero Friedrich Zoller takes a rapid interest in her and arranges an illustrious movie premiere at the theater she now runs. With the promise of every major Nazi officer in attendance, the event catches the attention of the Bastards, a group of Jewish American guerrilla soldiers led by the ruthless Lieutenant Aldo Rain. As the relentless executioners advance and the conspiring young girls' plans are set into motion, their paths will cross for the fateful evening that will shake the very annals of history. With 5 scenes throughout the movie, it has a bit of a long runtime, but almost the whole movie is non-stop action and comedy. As much as I liked our number 2 spot, I love our number 1 spot even more. This is a movie, whenever it is on, I have to watch it. I'm talking about the movie about a slave who is set free and becomes a bounty hunter with the help of his German dentist friend. We're talking about the 2012 movie Django Unchained. With actors like Jamie Foxx and Christoph Waltz, I was excited from the beginning. In the movie, we go to 1858. A bounty hunter named Schultz seeks out a slave named Django and buys him because he needs him to help him find some men he is looking for. After finding them, Django wants to find his wife Brumhilde, who along with him were sold separately by his former owner for trying to escape. Schultz offers to help him if he chooses to stay with him and be his partner. Eventually they learn that she was sold to a plantation in Mississippi. Knowing they can't just go in and say they want her, they come up with a plan so that the owner will welcome them into his home and they can find a way. In the end, it ends up being an epic battle of brains and bronze as the slave owners and our heroes duke it out for Brumhilde's life. Alright guys, these are the top 10 movies written by Quentin Tarantino as seen by me. He's been capturing us for years with his amazing stories. Do you agree with the movies I have on my list? Do you agree with their rankings? Did I leave something out that you think should be here? Let me know in the comment section below. Also remember guys, watch what you want to watch. Don't let anyone tell you what's good or not. Please remember to hit that like, subscribe, and notification button below, and share this with your friends on your Facebooks and other social medias. I would like to thank everybody who subscribed last week and let you guys know at this time we've grown to 14 subscribers and our last episode had 25 views. It has also taken our spot for the most commented on and liked videos so far, so thank you very much. Please visit our Facebook page, Dave Talks Movies. If there's a movie or a top 10 movie list you want us to talk about, leave us a comment on either page or in the comments below and we'll get to it. Also, hit us up with your ideas and thoughts on the topics we're talking about. I will respond to all of your comments on all the platforms. This is Dave the Movie Guy, signing off.